why do you think it's so difficult for people to not understand how to support people who are having a different experience than them?
I can give you a very simple answer. White supremacy. That's the sad part. It's a sad reality. It always goes back. It's like it's the connecting point. But even going to like the end of the day, like, one of the only people that when they get murdered that are the news covers the front page in the trans community, then when everyone hears about it is when a white trans person's murdered. But all these black trans murders and ain't nobody talking about them. So there's this whole thing where like I want the same opportunities, the same support, the same empathy that you give out to our white counterparts. Black trans folks need that. It shouldn't be, when people talk, where there's, it shouldn't take 10 black trans women to equal one white trans woman that's a public figure on TikTok, Twitter, etc. It should not. And then, so there's this whole just, again, like this all lives matter approach. And these people really like, and again, this is again, the trans community is very segregated. They want to pretend we're together, but no, like if we were, then we wouldn't be where we're at. We would see actual tangible response. We would, how they use those bigots use them graphs to say like your plights only valid if it can you see a graph. Well, them graphs don't exist. I ain't seen no graph I can look to cite and look at. Like, oh no, it's not showing that. The data is showing y'all ain't doing enough. Okay, so and it's just it's a shame, and I just feel like there's a lot of just like white trans folks that like once they come out as trans, like okay, well, all I have to talk about is trans issues and not look the trans issues through a lens that doesn't just like is through my biases, my perspectives. So they're not being intersectional. That's what it comes out. It comes down to the lack of intersectionality because people actually were about their intersectionality. They'd include black trans folks. They like so a lot of people don't really live up to that. They'll say they're for it. They might share an infographic about intersectionality, but they don't live up to it. Like that's what I've been talking about. My purpose is like the lack of it. It's a true intersectionality.
Yeah, but the
And for me
question
to
is why? Why don't they live up to it? Like, what is stopping them? Like, I mean,
maybe
I,
being lazy. Honestly, I'm gonna say a lot of these bitches lazy. It's either lazy or not taking the time. Like you fall, but like at the end of the day, like me as a black trans woman, like I'm not gonna sit here and ponder on why left and right. Because at the end of the day, like it
yeah,
could be
I'm
a
just wondering
multitude of
if you have any
answers.
insights. Like, I mean, like,
Uh,
yeah,
like I
because I
said,
mean,
white
for me, it
supremacy.
is pivotal to my work to know the answer to that question, because like ultimately, you know, if we're talking about building a movement or building a coalition, it means people have to be together somehow, some way, and so it's just I'm really focused on trying to bridge gaps, like in different
Well,
ways.
I'll have to say this: they're
Yeah,
gonna have to because it's not like black trans women hands weren't out to go, link up. It's the fact that they're not coming to us. They're not like we've been open to work together and share platforms. At the end of the day, like even when it comes to, like I have a video transphobia and trans misogynoir. A lot of the first big people speaking about trans issues in the public eye, um, were black trans women like Laverne Cox, Janet Mock, my trans mother, T.S. Madison. They were going through the early 2012, 2013, 2014 bigotry, the type of things that these radio hosts, these interviewers, Piers Morgan, the things they would say to them that these people would never say now. So it's like a lot of these black trans women have built up a lot of this groundwork and a lot of this language and even just made it to where people will now when they have conversation, even when it goes to like 2017, 2018, 2019, we've done the work and now they've closed the door out on us. We're like, oh well, now you made these opportunities for us. You made it easier for us, to exist in these certain spaces and whatnot. But we're gonna go. A lot of white queer folks like, okay, thank you, bye. Close the door on us, and we're just shut out and back to square one. So, there's like I said, there's a multitude of reasons. I would love, at the end of the day, like, um, I would say complacency. This is the very, it goes deeper. There's a lot of things I go into, but at the end, it is complacency. Like I say in my practice, like just because you're queer doesn't mean you get to be white. You as a white queer person doesn't mean like you being trans or queer or whatnot doesn't mean you get to be complacent. So if
yeah.
you want to explore the complacency,
I do. Yeah.
that
Yeah. That's the
um
thing that I'm wondering about because, like I don't understand complacency in general that much. I mean, I know that people could get paralyzed, and I felt that myself. You can be paralyzed by fear or by other things, but like, it's just very hard for me to pinpoint.
No, yeah, I feel like yeah, there's a multitude of reasons why people are complacent, but I do feel like one of the biggest ones people probably think they're doing enough. I think that's a bigger fact, a huge fact. People think they're doing enough. They're again, they don't realize they're taking an all lives matter approach to trans issues. A lot of the times when I say that, I'm the first person that's ever told them that. When they hear my videos, when I bring that up, they're like, "Oh shoot, I have been going about this. I haven't been intersectional. I haven't been looking out and really diversitizing. A lot of these people when they follow queer people, they don't take the time to realize, oh, I'm only following white queer people. They don't when they don't like so because it shows in who they follow. And this has been a conversation again. Like I'm coming from the TikTok space where like, we've been calling and I'm like, oh, when you follow people, when you talk about your queer peers and mutuals, why are they all white? Why are you only following white queer folks, etc.? So this is a new conversation. This is like that's why I'm like I'm at a point where like I don't give a damn. Y'all ain't doing it. I'm gonna keep saying I'm gonna keep talking about it, but you're gonna have to open up your ears to understand at least you even have a problem because a lot of them don't even care to realize. And again, like this ain't nothing new. And a lot of the times, like I feel like people want to come off progressive to a degree or just enough and stop there and think like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm, kind of like the Bernie Bros. Like I'm for Medicare for all and this and that, but silent on reparations for Black people, scared to speak on that, this and that, whatnot. So it's just, you know, white people come in many ways, but they will still the one thing they will still do is be complacent, and you're gonna have to discuss that with them because again, like this is not a new concept. I'm gonna be for years until I'm dead. I'm gonna keep telling them to stop being complacent, to still like to diversitize the queer people they listen to. Like, why are you only getting your information on trans issues solely from white trans folks? That needs to change now.
No, that's perfect.
Why can't you name Black trans people who are not entertainers? Why are they only in the show Pose or drag queens, etc.? Like why are you able to name all these trans people, all these white trans people who are not entertainers, but yet you can't do the same thing? Why is the only Black trans person that's not an entertainer is Cat Black? Why don't you know my trans mother, T.S. Madison? These are the questions. These are the things I have, white trans folks or even just non-Black trans folks like investigate. And so, yeah,
So you
so
really have your
honestly,
methods, huh, to make people introspect. I really like it. Well done.
yeah, well, they don't introspect that they're gonna not gonna know. Oh, again, like, they're not gonna know why, but also just the whole premise, like, they don't sometimes something really, and I get it, sometimes it is really is innocent, like they just ignorant, they should know better. And I'm at a point where like it's 2023. You should know damn better. But still, I'm glad you came by and you finally, listen. So we're gonna, but it's based on like when you hear that information, how are you gonna moving forward? How are you moving that? And that's what people also need to investigate because a lot of people will hear what I say and they'll go back to just only following white trans folks. Another thing I want to go into is like a lot of people when it comes to, I mean, like this is not just Black trans folks, but trans folks of color, they will only support, follow, and whatnot if we're cis passing, if we fit society's view of what a trans woman should look, etc. But they don't apply those rules to white trans folks. They just don't, and it's very clear to us, and it's like this beauty contest that they force us to participate in. While they don't do that, they don't set those rules on our white counterparts. I know for 100% fact that if I wasn't a skinny, mixed, light skin, hazel eye, purple hair, 3C curly hair trans woman, Black trans woman, that I wouldn't have the platform that I have right now, or white people wouldn't listen to me to the degree that they do, or if I wasn't from Orange County and speaking in the ASMR voice, or if I said like I was that I grew up in Crenshaw or something like that, then I doubt they'd listen to me to the degree. But because I'm a palatable, like even just in my everyday life here, I've been talking about this like even at my protest, but because I'm a palatable Black trans person, a Black trans woman, people are gravitated to me and they feel more comfortable going to me, even just like on everyday life. People don't know I'm trans because I'm cis passing. I'm able to go have a drink and no one know I'm trans, and I may not feel afraid or feel uncomfortable. Like it's to the point where like I get hit on at the bars and I have to friend zone them because I'm like, it's very clear this man don't know I'm trans, and I don't have time to entertain that, and I don't really care. So so it's I've noticed that for 100 of my life is that I've been the palatable Black person for these people, so they feel like they can sometimes spew being ignorant around me, or they think I'm trying to fit in. It's like, no, I'm just from Orange County. Like, I will check you real fast if you say some bigotry, but like, no. So I just feel like there's a lot that just needs to be investigated, because at the end of the day, like, we're never gonna come to we're not gonna beat these Republicans. We're not united. But how we get there is people actually being intersectional. And that's what the thing, like, people don't want to put in the work. I think that's the thing. People don't want to put in the work. A lot of people don't want to do that. So, they're gonna have to investigate that on them on them own. Like, I can talk about it, about like the phenomenon, but like that's not my job to like get you to finally care. I'll give you the
Oh
information you need
yeah,
to know,
it's
but
definitely not
like,
your job. But I mean, like everything you just said there, I think is extremely valuable information. You got to remember that like the introspection that you're asking people to do, right? Like you're so far advanced with it. Most people are not as far as you have gone. Most people have never had the thoughts that you just like revealed. I
well, I'm
just
a
want.
Black trans woman. I have no choice. I like, this is my way to survive. Like, I'm in a position where like I'm not just dealing with transphobia. I'm dealing with like racism. I'm dealing with trans misogynoir. So like, a lot of trans people, like, for us to survive, for us to be able to exist in this world, to get by, like, we're going to have to like actually think in a really nuanced way, and really like explore things, because I feel like there's still, I feel like a lot of white trans folks, they don't want to acknowledge like their privilege. Like, for example, I talk about this in my protests, but like there'll be these trans people talking about like, well, like, I've had white trans people come to me like, well, you have passing privilege, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Because your dad, like, he might be transphobic, but he pays for your dorm. He pays for your health insurance. He pays for your car insurance. He pays for your car. You don't have to worry about a damn car. But you don't have to worry about you don't have to work and go to school at the same time. You get to just be a student. I don't have no support from my parents at all. I can't even use their damn credits at all. Okay, so there's this, like, we're living a completely different thing. And also, my dad is a very transphobic Hispanic man that will always date me, and I just don't have any contact with him. So me being passing does not change the fact that I'm still a trans person, that it's experiencing transphobia from my family, from everyday life, etc. So that like I get the privilege in the sense of like not having to experience certain things, but don't try to go up to me and use that as a gotcha, because you're not going to get me when you're living in your dorm, that you don't have to worry
I mean,
about
it's not a
where you
race. Why does it always have to be a contest? Like, I mean,
I'm if I keep it real like that, they're like, they'll immediately, not that, not maybe not that person, but there'll be people like, well, you're playing oppression Olympics. I'm like, but you just came at me. You try to come at me, and when I clap back properly and kind of lay out like the economic difference of what, yeah, like, we're not living the same life. Like, you know, your parents might be transferred, but they're still paying for your healthcare to get your hormones. I had to pay my shit out of pocket by myself. I walk this way through myself. They're not gonna take me to to get to the endocrinologist and make sure I'm situated or whatnot. Like, so it's just like there's a whole, like, a lot of people don't realize how privileged they are. So until that, like, this is the conversation like Black trans folks been talking about, and it aggravates a lot of white trans folks. They're like, how dare you? And I'm like, honey, we don't have time for that. And that's the thing, like, until, like, again, like, a lot of it's white fragility. A lot until they don't examine their white fragility, that's making this buffer from Black trans folks and white trans folks coming together. We're not going to ever be this united community that they swear we are, while they're mostly hanging out with white trans folks. And other thing I've noticed, like, well, I'm already an alternative girl. I'm alternative. I'm pretty sure you saw some of my photos. You could tell I'm an alternative girly. Um, you know, but I've noticed, like, if I would use the example all the time, but like, even like like I said, there, a lot of them are clicky. So a lot of them, you have to fit their aesthetic. So like, they're gonna, like, let's say like they're all like green hair, mullets, nose ring type of trans folks, but the second, or queer folks, let's just say queer, just like the queer community as a whole, not just trans, but queer folks. Um, they're not gonna have a chola in their friend group hanging out with them. No, no, you better be, if they're goth, bitch, you better be goth too. That's pretty much how I know a lot of them move. So again, like I said, it's segregated. It's
what
hella
is this?
segregated.
Mean Girls? Like, are we in the
Uh,
cafeteria?
That's how it is here. That's how it is in Portland. That's how it is on Twitter. It just, a lot of it is just sad reality. Like, so they're not gonna be with,
I've never been like that. I've always been the little boy. You can even watch in my YouTube a poem that I wrote with the animation to go along with it. I was always the one who chose the middle ground. I may see black people on this side, white people on this side. I go down the middle. I have never, I've never been one of those people who wanted to like, blend in or categorize myself in a certain way, because to me it was all BS, even from a very young age. So it's just interesting to hear these things because it's just totally
that's why queer
imaginary to
people
me.